Sometimes you say dumb things on the internet when talking about your favorite sport, and then you get proven wrong. That happened a couple times to me this week. Yeah, I went 12 for 16 in game picks, but the 4 picks I made that were wrong, I was very confident that I was going to be right. The segment is going to be called Eating Crow. Now, for those of you who don't understand Southern lexicon, that's an old saying from the 1800s where it basically means you come to terms with something you said or did and you're forced to face it down. You're not going to weasel way out of accountability. So I'm going to go back, find out things I said wrong, and we're going to find out why they were wrong and why I thought they were right. However, in Eating Crow, I'm also coming after y'all, after some comments. I'm coming after the media that maybe made some brain dead takes, coming after certain news outlets that made some brain dead takes. We're all going to come to the table and have a nice, big, heaping plate of accountability. Hope you're here for it. I even got an intro made.
Eating Crow.
And we're going to start with something that honestly most of the nation got wrong. The Colts absolutely blowing out the Miami Dolphins 33-8. Tua was already in prime concussion form and he ain't even been hit yet. Daniel Jones looking like the second coming of Jesus Christ. Indiana Jones is in full motion, ladies and gentlemen. He had a great day. Dan Jones went 22 on 29 attempts, 272 yards, and a touchdown, only sacked once. You know, the Indianapolis offensive line is some heat. On the other side of the ball, Tua 14 for 23, except he only threw for 114 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Not ideal at all. Not a good start for the boys down in Miami. Couldn't really get the running game going either. Devon Achane got 7 for 55 compared to Jonathan Taylor getting 18 for 71. DJ Giddens getting 41 yards and Daniel Jones taking himself on a couple. He got 2 touchdowns on 26 yards off of 7 rushing attempts. The Colts were just firing on all cylinders today. I don't know what was going on with Miami's coaching staff, with their play calling. And then you see Tyreek Hill on the side of the bro. Tyreek Hill is going to be a chief within the next 4 weeks if this keeps up. You saw him on the sideline getting mad at the coaches, getting mad at his teammates. I understand how frustrated he is, but bro, you got to keep that temper down when you're on the field. You got to inflict that type of temper on your opposing team and not on your own teammates. The reason I was so confident in this is honestly I doubted Daniel Jones. I also overestimated the chemistry that the Dolphins had between themselves. We saw that one magical season with Tua and Tyreek Hill was looking like he was going to break 2,000. He was picking up fumbles, throwing up the deuces while he was running down the field. It was electric. I was watching that season while I was deployed to Poland in a tent with my friends on a projector on the wall. And one of my soldiers was the most jittiest of Florida jits you could ever imagine. He was from Miami. He loved the Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle with Tua connection. It was magical. It was fun to watch. It was a speed team. And now it just seems like they're speeding to the bottom. We were talking last week about, what would Arch Manning look like in a Colts uniform? Or what would Lenore Sellers look like in a Colts uniform? Now, we might be picturing those same guys in a Dolphins uniform. Something just wasn't clicking with Tua, and Mike McDaniel, his seat has never been hotter. That press conference, dude, he just looked defeated. I hope he hasn't lost the locker room yet. Definitely going to make me reconsider picking the Dolphins in any future games. If they don't show any improvement in next week, you might be able to start penciling them in for a top 5 pick. A lot of people have already penciled in for the first pick. Well, we previously had the Colts taking the first pick. Now, the Colts are riding high in a week 2, looking like they're going to be riding high for a little while longer if Daniel Jones keeps up this magic. But yeah, I was wrong about the Colts, and I completely overestimated the Dolphins. But nobody's perfect. In order to learn, you have to acknowledge where you failed. I failed on that one. Now we're going to get on to some of the comments left beneath my video. You'll see here, people are incredibly confident that I'm going to be wrong, that Spencer Rattler is the truth, that you don't know about them Saints, Houday, or whatever they say down there. And Spencer Rattler wasn't able to get it done against the Cardinals. He threw it for more than 40 times, wasn't able to be the push that the Saints needed to get them over the Cardinals hump. And they're playing in one of the loudest stadiums in the NFL. Away teams hate going to New Orleans because y'all Saints fans are loud. You represent your team. I just think y'all need a better quarterback. Unfortunately, that puddle's kind of dry right now. There's a couple teams that are probably going to be calling about Kirk Cousins, and they're going to be higher on the priority list than a division rival. But to all the Saints fans beneath that last video, you're going to be
Eating Crow.
next take that I'm going to have to eat some crow on is going to be the Bills upsetting the Ravens when the Ravens were up 40-25. The reason I got this wrong was I severely underestimated Josh Allen and I severely underestimated the Bills receiving room. Keon Coleman kind of had a quiet rookie season. I wasn't expecting him to be wide receiver one. He was rocking and rolling, toe drag swag catches, elite heads up plays, tracking batted balls in the air, making diving catches. Keon Coleman was on one. James Cook earning that contract. Josh Allen, absolutely top 3, if not top 1 MVP candidate right now, week 1. And that's not even to slouch the Ravens. Lamar played great. It's very rare that you put 40 up on somebody and you lose the game, especially with all the injuries that the Bills had. Trey White was out, Maxwell Harrison on IR. I was mainly concerned about the DBs. And on the other side, I was like, dude, they got arguably the best safety in the league. They got one of the best linebackers in the league. They got one of the best young pass rushes in the league. I was like, the Ravens just have the Bills beat on all sides when it comes to defense, but Josh Allen's that dude. Jesus, brother absolutely put the team on his back. It's their last year in that stadium and they're going to go out with a bang. So I just finished the appetizer. Looks like I'm going to be having an entree. What are we eating?
Eating crow.
All right, some other people that are going to be joining the line for
Eating crow
are going to be the John Mateer doubters. If you do not have him penciled in your Heisman watch sheet, you are doing yourself a massive disservice. He has one of the strongest arms I've seen in a long time. He was throwing balls so hard, his receivers physically couldn't get their hands together fast enough to catch them. But if he throws a ball at a civilian, he's breaking something. You hear the stories about Matt Stafford breaking fingers in practice. John Mateer can absolutely do that. Mateer haters are in shambles. OU finally has a Heisman caliber quarterback once again. You know, I grew up Sam Bradford, then Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Jalen Hurts was on the short list the year he was at Oklahoma. I'm used to Heisman play, and it's so nice to have this back. Then we get the transfer from Washington State. We get his offensive coordinator from Washington State, and brother is slinging it. Sometimes a little too hard. Some balls tend to sail on him. He tends to not have as much touch. He's got to work on that. He's got to find a way to get touch on his passes. He can't fastball everything. A pitcher has to have multiple pitches to be effective. You can't just throw 101 down the chute every time and expect people not to adjust. We had a great game against Michigan. Should be a blowout against Troy. I already ordered a jersey. It's on the way. I ordered one of them fake ones, so it's going to be here in like 2 months because it's coming off the long boat from China. But I still ordered one. I'm excited to see him play. Boomer Sooner all day. I love the game, but I'm going to rep my state, and John Mateer is putting the state on his back. If he puts the state on his back, eventually we'll put him on our shoulders when we win that natty. Chill. I'm just kidding. Don't shoot. So all you John Mateer doubters, you're about to be
eating crow.
All right, next up, New England has me
eating crow.
I was really concerned about the Raiders' wide receiving assets not being serviceable against New England. I did not know that Gonzo was on IR, so that I would have absolutely changed my pick or adjusted the way I picked it accordingly, but that's my fault for not doing enough research. I was concerned that, hey, Stephon Diggs is about to be that dude. I was fully bought in on Travion Henderson, and that's where I honestly think the Patriots failed. They couldn't get the run going. Drake May had a good game, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 46 attempts, 30 completions, 276 yards. Good game from Drake May. He wasn't the problem at all. They just couldn't get the run going. They tried as much as they can with Ramondre, with Travion Henderson, but yeah, nobody on the team cracked 30 rushing yards. Meanwhile, on the Raiders, Geno Smith had a comparable day. He threw 24 completions on 34 attempts, also a touchdown and a pick. Ashton Genty, they fed him a lot, but he only averaged 2 yards a carry, 19 rushes, 38 yards. I feel like if this was one of those games where a magical fifth quarter came out, they would have tied. But in 4 quarters, the Raiders won the game against the Patriots. Pete Carroll got his first dub after leaving the Seahawks. Always great to see the 70-year-old out there having fun, having a great time. Patriots are not going to be, I'm not worried about the Patriots. Drake May is still that dude. The Raiders showed up to play. Brock Bowers showed up to play. Hopefully Genty can, pop one off next week. He kind of got stuffed up a little bit this week. I'm excited to see both of these teams in the future, but for right now, they got me
eating crow.
Next up, I've been waiting for this one since I was on the road trip when this game started, so I listened to the first half in the car, watched the second half at home, and then came back and watched all the highlights because I was jorking it to this game. Aaron Rodgers officially has all the haters
eating crow.
Y'all preemptively put the man in a retirement home. My brother broke out at 3 a.m. when the nurses weren't there, and he put on the Steelers uniform. He was chucking bombs and boning moms and cashing checks and snapping necks. Aaron Rodgers is back, ladies and gentlemen. 4 touchdowns, elite ball placement. Him and DK Metcalf already on the same wavelength. Him and Mike Tomlin been on the same wavelength. Got to get the running game going. They really had Gainwell back there as the primary back this game. Got to get more Caleb Johnson going. Jalen Warren has proven to be a good, effective running back from out of the backfield on the passing game. I like to get him north-south, though. He is a hard contact runner. He has an angry run scepter somewhere in his bag. He's just got to go out there and get it again. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers, absolutely diabolical game against the Jets, and the Jets were playing great. Justin Fields had one of the best games of his career. Jets defense looking nice. Quentin Williams got himself a sack on Aaron Rodgers. I thought he was going to crush Aaron Rodgers. I thought he ate him. I thought he hit him with the grimace special, but nah. Aaron Rodgers is that dude. Do not underestimate what once was great. Old heads were eating good this week. There's a song by Toby Keith, goes something like, I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. This is Aaron Rodgers' season to prove that, baby. He can ride off into the sunset on the white horse with the cowboy hat and his pride intact. I would love to see this Steelers team make the playoffs. You can't go 17-0 without going 1-0. They're 1/17th of the way to an undefeated season. You got to think about that mindset. I'm by no means a Steelers fan, but look at that. I'm repping Aaron Rodgers on this one. I watched this man in Green Bay for a long time, and I hate seeing athletes go out years after they should have gone out. And people were already writing Aaron Rodgers off after last year. But like I've said in multiple videos, Aaron Rodgers, even if you just look at the stats, is a top 10 quarterback. Aaron Rodgers did just fine last year, but he was on the Jets. Now he's on a historically good franchise in the Steelers, and he took the Jets to the cleaners, okay? The Jets have a bright future ahead of them. Justin Fields looks like the truth because he put up all those points on the Steelers defense, on TJ Watt, on Alex Highsmith, on Jalen Ramsey, all right? The Steelers are no slouch on defense, and Justin Fields did his best. If it wasn't for the Boswell bomb, it would have gone to overtime, and who knows who would have won after that. But, you know, the Boz came in, pranked a 60-yarder, and took it back home to the crib. Great time to be a football fan, man. This game was amazing. Who would have thought that for a short while, Jets versus Steelers was game of the week until the Bills played the Ravens. But yeah, all of you Aaron Rodgers haters out there, you're going to be
eating crow.
All right, and the last pick that has me
eating crow
is going to involve the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. I honestly overestimated the Bears a little bit. I bought into the Ben Johnson hype. I assumed that since Chicago dumped so much money in the offensive line, then they drafted so many offensive weapons that Caleb was going to be able to finally overcome the slump he had last year and ride off screaming into this year. But man, he had a great first half, in my opinion. Ran himself in for a touchdown. The offense seemed more productive. Good checkdowns. He was avoiding sacks like crazy. He was spinning, twirling, do-si-doing, rope-a-doping, jumping, sliding, skipping, diving. Caleb Williams is a mobile threat. His spider sense is insane. He can feel a defender coming. And whatever happened after that pick six for J.J. McCarthy, I compared him to like in Split with all the personalities, you know. You saw him in the tunnel with his war paint on. He said, yeah, I'm going to kill somebody. He looked like a demon. And after that pick six, he retreated into his psyche, spoke to the other personalities, and the beast came out. J.J. McCarthy was on demon timing. Black Air Force energy. J.J. McCarthy is nothing to be trifled with. That's the same energy that turned Kirk Cousins into Kirko Chains, all right? J.J. McCarthy got that dog in him. That quarterback keeper, every single person on the defense bit on that read option. They crashed down on the running back, and he could have walked into the end zone. It was a great play. Love seeing ballsy plays like that. Love seeing J.J. McCarthy prove the haters wrong. Now, I don't want the Vikings to ever succeed. I'm a Packers fan, but real recognize real. And that was a really fun watch. Some poor clock management from the Bears at the end there. If a return is going to put the timer over the 2-minute warning and you can't kick the ball out the back of the end zone, just kick it out the side. You'd rather have it on the 40 above the 2-minute warning where you get a free timeout than letting that return man dilly-dally his way into getting tackled, and now they just wasted the 2-minute warning. That was on the coaching staff. You should know the limits of your kicker, if he can boot it out the back or not, because it looked like he gave it 110%, and it still was fielded in the end zone. You even saw Kevin O'Connell and the coaching staff waving the returner out. He wasn't looking at the return team. He was looking at his sideline. He was like, go, stay, go, stay, go, stay, go. Okay. Got to get your head screwed on tight when it comes to clock management. Clock management will kill a team. And it killed my record. I went from being 13-3 on week 1 to 12-4 because of it. We have identified things that I got wrong. We've identified some things that y'all have gotten wrong. Thanks for being on the journey. This is going to go straight into Gotta Know Ball. And this has been Eating Crow.
Eating Crow.